Disney keys and magic bands, rodeos and fam. You are now tuned in to the Disney Holic Show.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Holic Show. That's Mike TV.
And that's Jen Diz.
Today's episode is packed with a bit of everything. Birthday recaps, Disney thrills, epic debates, and all the magic and mayhem in between. We even made time for Rootin' Tootin' Rodeo BBQ review! So I'm starting off about myself again. That's where we ended last week. I'm kicking off about myself again this week because I just had such a lovely birthday. At first, I wanted to do like a big old thing for my birthday, and then adult schedules came into play, and I'm like, forget it, not doing it, right? Like I washed my hands clean of it very quickly because I realized nobody has time right now, and that's fine. So I was like, you know what? I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll end up at Disneyland. Maybe I won't. So what ended up happening was I had plans made for my birthday. So the night before, I went with Fargo, shout out Fargo, to Disneyland. I told you guys that that was happening. But I wanted to talk about just how great of a night it was. Because it's just like one of those nights that you just think is like, okay, it's just going to be chill. And it ended up just like all this magic kept happening. And I just love that it happened like on my birthday Disneyland day, right? You know what I mean?
Magic happens.
It's like, yeah, magic happens. Okay. So I went to Disneyland with Fargo. We shoved our faces as soon as we got there. This was after work, mind you. So it was like dinner time, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Weekday,
And
weeknight.
weekday, it was Thursday night. I'm sorry, Wednesday night of last week. So right after the podcast aired, I went to Disneyland.
Nice.
And yeah, it was pretty late. I think it was like 8 o'clock when we were able to get there. And the first thing I did was try some of this food I've been wanting to try. And it was the mini Monte Cristos, which
Oh,
is
that sounds good.
plenty of food. I ended up throwing some of it away. I could have shared that with somebody, and it was a mini. Like it seems like,
Wow.
right? Like what? So it was a ton of food. It was pretty good. It tasted a lot like the one inside of Blue Bayou in the past. So if you've had that one, think the
Was it
same
kind
thing.
of like stuffed and sealed, or could you see the ingredients? Like, did it have an open side?
It was cut in half so you could see everything, but it was a
Mm,
fully fried, smaller version of a Monte Cristo.
pretty
So
hungry.
that's like, what is it? Ham, turkey, and like a bunch of cheeses inside
Hmm.
bread and then deep fried. And then you
Sometimes
dip it
syrup, right? Oh, you're gonna
syrup in
say
it?
you're
Oh,
gonna
I don't
dip it in
know.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, you dip it in like a jam, like I think it was like
Yum.
a raspberry jam or something like that that you
That
dip it in.
reminds me of how much I like the combination of IKEA's Swedish meatballs with their little berries, Swedish berries. Oh, it's so good.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Those
Exactly.
two things.
Exactly
Yep.
that. So, recommended kind of, I think I'd give it like I don't know, like a 3 out of 5. No, maybe 3.5 out of 5. That's three
Okay.
sounds low. But it's like heavy fried food. And I think I just like wasn't as in the mood for that as I thought I was. So that happened.
I
And
like
I
that they cut it in
also
half because then you could share it with
you
somebody
can
and just
easily
have,
share.
yeah.
Yep. And it has powdered sugar on the outside too, by the way.
Oh,
So it's like just kind of wild, right?
a lot.
And then I also got the little cheddar garlic biscuits to go with it. So just like it was a heavy meal.
Mm.
So, you know, got to do that when your belly wants that instead of just saying like, "Oh, I've always wanted to try that." But it was good and it was fun. Good way to kick off the night. Then we got some freshly baked warm cookies over at Harbor Galley, which is like my new favorite thing to do is just walk around Disneyland eating these fresh baked cookies. They're so good. So we got those. Went in line for Haunted Mansion because where else am I going to go on my birthday? And as we're in line, Fantasmic is going off. The Haunted Mansion's right behind us. I'm eating these cookies. I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, ugh, like I don't know, just one of those moments where I'm like, okay, this is what every human should be doing on their birthday, in my personal opinion. Just like it's great. So we went on Mansion, and then we headed over. We're like, you know what would be really cool? Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, because it's only like 15 minutes right now, right? Those Wednesday nights, the best. So as we're walking over, I think we ended up watching the fireworks also on Rivers of America. So just like such a cool night. Walked over to Mickey Minnie's and then noticed as we're on the way, like Paint the Night is headed down the route, right? It's the second one of the night, so it's later. So I'm like, oh my God, can we just watch the parade? So we found this spot where there's like hardly anybody even standing out there. And we kind of joined this little group of like probably like mid 20s to 30 range age of like hipster kids that were standing there. And what I wasn't ready for is that these people were either the number one Paint the Night fans or they were acting as, and it was equally as fun. And it we had this energy that I wasn't ready for, and it made me like just join in immediately. We were all dancing on the side, having a blast. Every single character that came by, we would just scream for them like we're their like fanboys like of a band, right? Like it was like oh my God, like
I
freaking
like
out. And it was
that.
like,
That reminds me of like the videos I see in Tokyo Disneyland where people
yes.
do that. Yeah.
We totally did it, and the attention that the characters give, it was so freaking cute. It was actually really fun. Like I felt kind of annoying, but there wasn't a lot of people around, so that felt fine too. Like they had their whole parade route, and we're at the end, like just going bananas for them. It was like right in front of Small World, right? So that was really cute. And then another thing I noticed, Cinderella like did her like graceful spin and looked right at me and mouthed "Happy birthday," and I was like what? And I like froze in time. And then I realized I'm wearing a birthday pin because Fargo, number one, got me a birthday pin as soon as we walked into the park. And I was just like, dang, it's like dark. It's nighttime. I'm far away. And this character still noticed my birthday button and said happy birthday from her float. It was just impressive. I don't know what about it. It was just like super cool. And a bunch of other characters after did the same thing. And it was just like super magical. So after the parade, and by the way, I recommend everyone become the number one fan of Paint the Night. It's like really fun doing it. If you have a big group of people, just go bananas over these people because it's a ton of fun. But then we're like, all right, we were on the way to Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway, right? So we're like, let's get over there. So we go back. Freaking ride shut down. I was so bummed. I'm like, no, the first thing to go wrong tonight. Everything else has been perfect. But we were standing there. We're just like, okay, what are we going to do now? It's like pretty close to midnight. It's like maybe 20 minutes till midnight at that point. And it's like, you know what? Let's just chill. It's been a great night. It's fine. So we start walking. And they had just shut the doors when we walked up. Like they just are like, sorry, guys, it's closing right now. And so, like, yeah, probably not going to reopen, right? Like that kind of thing. So we were leaving. And all of a sudden, I hear this commotion from behind us. And I turn around and they reopened it. Like it was
Oh,
literally closed for maybe 3 minutes or something. I don't know what happened. It was very weird. So we ran inside, also equal like no line. So we ran straight into the ride, got to ride Mickey Minnie's, super fun. And then came out to like cast members blowing bubbles. And why I'm bringing this up, first of all, I was super into it, which is hilarious as a 45-year-old woman. Super into these bubbles. But what's really cool is on these nights that are like a little more sparse and less people and craziness going on, you get to see the cast members also enjoying that. Like they're just like having fun and like blowing bubbles for the last 20 minutes of the park open. You know, like that's just like they have nothing else to do and they're just having a good time. And they had this one bubble one that was blowing these like giant bubbles and it was reflecting the marquee of the Mickey Minnie's Runaway Railway behind it. And it just looked
ooh.
so cool. So I got all crazy with my camera and I kept following the bubbles around and filming them. And it was just super adorable. The cast members are super interacting with us and it was really cute. Then it's almost midnight. It's like a couple minutes to midnight. And so we're walking out and I realize we're right by the Small World clock, right? So I'm like, oh my God, let's go
Oh.
watch.
And just again, this is the night before your birthday.
The night
Birthday
before my birthday.
Eve,
Yeah, I
right? So
keep talking about my
midnight.
birthday. Yes. Yes,
Midnight
you are
becomes
right.
your birthday. Ooh.
Exactly. So I'm like, all right, we're by the only place in the park that announces the time at midnight. Like, this is
Oh,
kind of perfect.
never thought of that.
So we go over to watch the clock strike midnight and the little show it does. If you haven't seen it before, go at any hour on the hour and all the little small world characters come out of the clock opening and it's just like a whole little cute show that happens. So that was happening when we got there. And then right at midnight, the clock starts bonging, right? It's like bong, bong, 12 times. And right then they started playing the Disneyland closing spiel also. And I'm like, this is just so freaking perfect. It's just like so cute. I don't know. I was thrilled. I was very happy. And that was the way to end the night, my birthday eve, which was just perfect. I didn't really
That's
think,
nice. I really like that.
yeah, I didn't think much would come of, just like another night at Disneyland, no big deal. And it ended up being super magical. So it was very cute. Then the next day was my actual birthday, and I had to go to work. Shouldn't have done that. Should have, taken the day off.
Should have.
I always think it's no big deal, and it always sucks. So just remember that next year. And anybody that listens to this show, just remind me, take your birthday off, girl. Next year, take your
Do it
birthday off.
now. Request that PTO now.
I know, and I think it's a Friday next year because it goes forward a day, right? Not backwards.
No idea. I always get
Oh
confused.
shoot, maybe it's the opposite. I can't remember, but
All I do know is that Halloween this year is on a
Friday,
oh,
Saturday,
I thought I knew.
Wednesday.
I know it's a Friday or a Saturday because I was excited. One of those two.
Wait, I think the 25th is the Saturday. So 25th, 26th, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Friday, I
Friday.
think. If I
Yeah.
did my
Kick
math,
off
or if I
that
remember that Sunday.
Halloween weekend.
Halloween weekend, hecka cool. Wait, we could have like two Halloween weekends then, right? Because the weekend before, a lot of people are celebrating too. Okay, I gotta look this up. Hold on.
Ooh, I think they only celebrate before if the 31st lands on a weird day.
But a Friday's not a weird day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They wouldn't celebrate the weekend before this year.
Some are though. Like Anaheim's Halloween parade is on
Oh,
the Saturday before.
that's just dumb, I guess.
And I did just look up my birthday next year on a Friday. Definitely going to take that day off. I'm going to put it in my PTO as soon as we're done recording. Just saying. But anyway, so for my actual birthday, shout out Samson. He took me out on a date for the evening. It was so nice. He knew I love my 80s movies, right? And this is another beautiful thing about living in a new area is I don't really like I haven't been to a lot of these places that a lot of the locals already know about. And so when I told one of my coworkers about it, she already knew what was planned, but I was like, don't tell me. It's supposed to be a surprise. I don't know.
Oh,
And all I knew is it had something to do with Karate Kid, which sounds super weird, a competitive sport, and Downey, California. And I'm like, what the heck? And I didn't look it up because I don't want to ruin it. So we went and it was super cute. It was at Golf and Stuff, which is this massive, it was like really big miniature golf place, like one of the biggest, if not the biggest ones that I've been to. So if you're into mini golf, very cute place to go. It's very vintage. And they like glorify the fact that Karate Kid was filmed there. Like they have it all
wow.
over the place. It's so cute. But super fun. We just had a nice night of doing mini golf. And then Samson had taken some screenshots of different scenes in the movie, and we reenacted the scenes and like took our own photos to like
Wow.
match the photos from the movie. So super cute. We ended up ending the night. We got pizza on the way home to watch Karate Kid to like now see it. And the best part was when we went to pick the pizza up, the Disneyland fireworks were going off. So we got to watch the
Wow.
fireworks from the parking lot. Just like super amazing birthday. Glad to report that it was not a loss. This year I was a little worried. I was like, I don't know what's going to happen. My birthday this year.
Shout out to Samson. That is a very well orchestrated and choreographed
Isn't it
date.
cute? It was so fun.
It had a
Yeah, the
beginning, middle,
planning
and
ahead,
end.
totally.
Beginning, middle, and end, and it was all related. That's so smart. I love it.
Super smart. And then a couple things I didn't mention about the day before, my birthday eve, but I wanted to bring up just because I finally got to experience it, was some of the new features in Disneyland. And one of those is that key to Disneyland, that big clunky plastic key, right? I finally got to use it. You saw my video of me using it for the very first time over by Club 33, actually. And it was actually really cute. I don't hate it at all. It's a great thing, especially for kids to do. Oh my God, like even I enjoyed it. Like little kids are gonna lose their mind over it. I would suggest doing it at nighttime because this one had extra features that you cannot see during daytime. It shot like lights out on the wall and stuff from it. And basically, you take your giant plastic key and put it in a giant plastic keyhole, and then things happen like bubbles go off. They play audio from like it played the Haunted Mansion audio, which is perfect for me, right? And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's playing Mansion. And the bubbles came out and the lights started shooting on the wall, like projections and stuff. And it was just cute. It's like a great little addition thing to play around with. I will warn you guys that the Disneyland or the key to Disneyland does not offer any refunds. I bought one extra in case somebody wanted it. No one has taken it, so I went to go return it. They will not allow me to return it. Now I'm out
Wow.
$60.
Even
So if
in
anybody needs
packaging
a
and everything.
Disneyland key, I got one. What'd you say?
Even unopened. No return.
Unopened. And it says,
Wow.
she goes, if you look here, and she showed me on the back this little print that says no refunds. I'm like, listen, like, great. That is great. However, when have you ever bought merchandise at Disneyland and you can't return it? It's just like not really a thing.
Yeah.
But that's
That's
okay. It's
interesting.
fine.
And also, after you completed the key experience, you receive something for that one, right? A light turns on.
Yeah. So the key will play audio and depending on your area, and then a little light shows up on the key, and it was the gargoyle of the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, okay. So it was
Yeah.
over there in New Orleans Square, hence Club 33. Okay, I get it.
Yep. Yep.
Very
Very
cool.
cute.
Hey,
Um,
speaking
yeah.
of keys, have you heard of have you heard the latest buzz on Disneyland Magic Key terminology?
The terminology itself, no.
Yeah. So not the big plastic key, but the actual magic key that we've started trying to train our brains to rewire what we used to call annual passes
Yes.
into magic keys at Disneyland, right? This happened what, like a couple years ago? How long has it been now?
I think it's since COVID, right?
Since COVID? Like when
Did
they
it come
brought
back as
back,
Magic Keys?
you're
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it went away as annual passes. We had to wait to find out when we could buy them again. And then
Yep.
they reemerged as
Rebranded.
magic keys,
Yeah.
rebranded. And but over here at Disney World, we still call them annual passes. But it definitely threw us all off in the community, right? Because we say the acronym AP all the time for
Right.
everything. Like, do you have AP discounts? And then we like to say AP Brain when you think like a local annual pass holder. But the latest buzz is that they are changing the terminology back to annual passes in some way.
Oh
So
my God. In some
I
way, what does
saw
that
in
mean?
some way. So, love the fans, Disneyland fans, other Disneyholics on Reddit, TikTok, and all that. So, what I've seen so far is are screenshots that you can look up yourself, like on the website, where they're slowly phasing annual pass back in.
What?
So, in a way, we can say maybe they're adding more terminology versus replacing it. But what it things, some examples are, it'll say, use your dream or believe key annual pass. And then that
Oh
word
my
magic is
God.
kind of missing. So key is kind of saying in there in some way. And if it'll say like if you're a believe key annual pass holder, there's some things like that. And what I think is interesting is I wonder if it just didn't catch on. Like how many people might have been confused that are not Disneyholics, but still on the cusp of wanting to buy one or wanting to know what the program
I
is
mean,
or
like, I'm not exactly sure if this is what I want. I want the thing that gets me in for an
yeah.
annual term.
Yeah. Ooh, I'm glad you mentioned that because now let's get into some conspiracies from the fans. The theory is, which is an interesting one, was during the Magic Key development, like you said, during pandemic when things were people were trying to change operations while they could, that Magic Key was supposed to originally debut as a season type of pass. It was not going to be
The
12
Magic
months.
Key, the new
Yeah.
one?
Yep. It was not designed to be a 12-month annual
Oh my
recurring thing.
gosh.
Yeah, but it looks like they never went that route. So then they ended up just recreating annual passes on a 12-month roll basis. Um, maybe it was meant to be more just subscription like Disney Plus, and there was never an end. I don't know. But the theories were they had something else planned to differentiate it from what we know as annual passes, but that never happened.
Mm.
Um, I would say though, I'm gonna ask you because you're a Magic Key holder and you live near Disneyland now. Does it feel different, like the perks and things, like the way they say, oh, for Magic Key holders or the Magic Key Lounge? Does it feel different to be a Magic Key holder at Disneyland, or is it just a term for you? What do you think?
I think it's just a term for me because they used to have the AP corner and the like they had stuff that you could do. It wasn't like
Yeah.
that. Those offerings are new, per se, but yeah, I can't really think of any. I don't know. I think it's just a change in the
Yeah,
verbiage.
it's weird. Gosh, imagine 2 years from now, lightning lanes become fast passes, magic keys
Like, let's
become
just pull it back.
annual pass. What
We
a
go back to the
nightmare.
paper fast pass.
Yeah, seriously. The one thing that I will say, if there's any positivity out of this potential change back, other than the fact that we kind of still like the old terms, is another person brought up a theory. What if this means we're a step closer to returning to having a premier whatever passport for both parks, Disney World and Disneyland?
Why would they think that?
Because
Because they
it's
didn't
back to
have
the
it the whole time.
because it's back to the same word. Because right now it would be weird, right? Because one is a completely different product. But if they're
Oh,
both
I see what you're
annual
saying.
passes, maybe we
Okay.
could get. That's just my wishful thinking and this Redditor's wishful thinking because we like to go to both coasts as much
It
as we
would be
like to walk.
nice. I would
Yeah,
also get one.
there you go.
Um, yeah, but they stopped that so long ago. Do
No,
they
it,
have a
it
reason they stopped it?
it only stopped when all that happened. When
No.
yeah, it never came back is what it was. So when they stopped selling annual
Ah,
passes, it
are
never
you sure?
returned.
I'm pretty sure it stopped before that because we were going a lot.
I'm a
And I remember
thousand
having to
percent
buy two
sure.
separate ones.
Yeah.
What? I'm gonna
Yeah, it
double
never
check you
came
after
back.
this.
This is one of those things where they would take something away and we would just assume it came back after COVID. Never did.
Weird. It feels like it
Very
was
weird.
gone for years before that. Well, hopefully we can see that come back maybe at some point.
Maybe.
Although, remember the price when I did the price analysis of it? Like, I don't even know if that was with you or not, but
Yeah, it's definitely not a savings thing. It's a yeah, I got both. I
for
can go to both.
you,
I can go both
the
at
only
any
reason
time.
I would get
Yeah.
one is for savings.
I think also technically your Disneyland starts the first day you go to Disney World, so you could also take that as lost value
Yeah,
if
you
you're a
have to go
stickler.
within a month of each other on both ends to make it have any value, and two times to each, two times to your
Yeah.
far away park to make it value
I like it
worth
more
it.
for just that sort of like highest tier. I don't have to worry about all the nonsense with reserving and blah 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 blah
Oh,
blah.
that's another thing. I wonder if they brought the Premier Pass back, would that bring back um 365 at Disneyland? Do you
Ooh.
guys have that at your top tier at Disney World? Because after
Maybe,
COVID, we
but I
lost those weeks of Christmas.
it could be. I have the one below, so I'm not sure. And that's because that's DVC. They only offer the second tier to Disney Vacation Club, but it works for me. I think
Yeah.
you and I are on the same page. Like, if we're not gonna go on Christmas,
Yeah,
let's go.
I never had the I don't know if I've ever had the top one. I guess when I had the Premier Pass, I did.
Whoa.
But it's like I never needed it because, the next tier always included parking and all the same perks. It just gave you those extra 2 weeks. I'm like, I'm not
Oh,
going
you'll
anyway.
probably have the 365 when they release the Premium Premier Deluxe Magic Key Annual Pass Pro Plus.
Sounds about right. Oh my God. I was talking about that at work the other day. We were talking about video games and some of the lack of creativity and names and stuff. Like we were laughing about some video game stuff, and I brought up Disney. I'm like, we talk about this on our podcast all the time that they have like a bag they just pull stuff out of, like
Yep.
magic and wonder and this and that, and just like put it all in a row, and you have the next title of whatever you're trying to build.
There you go. The next nighttime extravaganza.
Right?
You know what else is rebranding? This is a far tangent now from Disneyland, but um, it's just making me think like the pandemic just threw everything off. Like all these branding changes, companies around the world like thought, oh, I'm gonna use this like downtime to redo something.
Yeah.
And if you remember, HBO Max changed like 1,000 times. Not just the name, but the color, the logo. And then if you had the subscription on old school cable, it was called HBO Go. But if
Yeah.
you were a cord cutter, it was called HBO Max. And then, now now it's just Max.
Right.
They recently changed the color, which confuses me when I'm looking at my like apps on the TV. And then guess what? starting next month, it's back to HBO. Nothing else,
Oh
just
my
HBO.
gosh. What is up with them? Max sounds better for everything.
It sounds, yeah, like maximum. The confusing part about HBO, and I was reading why they didn't do that in the first place, was HBO is its own brand. So if you're watching like The Sopranos or Sex in the City, that's HBO. Last of Us. And then there's a lot of stuff that are Max originals. Those are just from some other thing that is made by another person and like the parent company, but it's not HBO because HBO
Mm.
proper is supposed to stand for like quality, like the best. It was always like the fancy cable add-on to sign up for,
Yeah,
back in
true.
the
Very
days.
true.
So they tried to keep those separate. And they threw in a lot of stuff into Max, like Warner Brothers is in there, DC Comics is in there, but I guess they caved and went back to just HBO. But my favorite part is if you check out HBO Max's social channels, they are roasting themselves almost every day about the logo change. Like they know it's silly and they let their social team just like
I love
go off on
this
it.
this version of humor we're getting now. Like internet humor
Yeah.
in general, I love, but like I love companies being a little more fun and like
Like us, just like us.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even Disney did it with Deadpool, right? Constantly
Yeah.
like poking, prodding literally at themselves. And
Yep.
like it's just fun. Like there's that skit a long time ago or some thing online where people were they're talking about like sexual stuff and all these brands were coming in on it, like saying like what would you say to me in bed or something like
Oh,
that.
those are
And I'm
so
just like
funny.
surprised that all these big companies are partaking in it. It was just it's fun. It's like, all
Wendy's
right.
is a good one. Jack in the Box too. There's like some
Right.
ones that are
Yep.
like extra sassy. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I like finding out about those from TikTok too. Like, have you looked at the chaos going on Wendy's page recently? And I'm like, what? Go over there. Like, oh yeah, what the heck is happening? And I wanted to mention real quick, I just remember I asked you this too on the day of, but we found out by going to golf and stuff that Karate Kid was a DC comic in case anybody else didn't know. Is that so weird?
Oh, that they made a DC comic of
Yeah.
Karate Kid.
It was first though. The comic was first.
No way. I don't believe it.
Yes.
No way.
Yep,
We need a producer here live on the air
we do.
to look this up.
I looked
I
it up.
have I have never thought about that.
So crazy. And how do we figure that out? It said DC Comics on something. It might have been like, oh, it was in the credits of the movie when we watched The Karate Kid. It said DC Comics. So I'm like, what? And so we looked it up. We're like, what the heck?
I still don't believe it.
Fact checking me
I
live
know
on the Disney Holic show.
I'm skeptical.
Go ahead, look it up. I'm gonna look up what year
Only
did
because
the.
I know that they usually do the reverse a lot, right? They'll make a comic after a movie. I don't know. I'm seeing here it says the screenwriter is based on his own life. Unless I guess the screenwriter also wrote the comic or something.
Remember, I sent you the picture of the comic cover.
Yeah,
Did you
the
just think I
comic I
made that in
believe.
AI?
Like there's always comics after a movie comes out, like they'll comicize it. Is that a
Oh,
word?
comicize it.
Comicize it.
I just tried to look when the Disney Premiere Pass ended and it says it started in 2024. So I'm just not going to look at that.
Oh, you're
All
thinking of
right.
Lightning Lane Premiere Pass. Okay, this is also them.
Oh, yeah.
They reuse that word. So yeah, it's a good point to the all the theorists out there. They might not be able to bring it back with the same term because now it's being used for Lightning Lane, the word
Oh, maybe
premiere.
that one will be the magic key.
Oh my goodness. My head's gonna explode.
Oh my God, hilarious. All right. Well, that's about a wrap for my Disneyland stuff. I guess two more things I want to mention is I did also do the Magic Band thing. Very cute. If you guys have a Magic Band, plus bring it to Disneyland and play with those little touch points. You get a cute little souvenir for free. And after this episode airs, I'm going to Pride Night tonight at the park. I'm very excited. I did my nails for all of you on YouTube. I know everyone's so excited. Thanks, Fargo, for hooking me up with some cute nails. Gonna be rainbows galore tomorrow night or tonight, whatever it is, after this
Oh.
episode airs.
Rainbows galore. It's Pride month. It's Pride night. This is the time for rainbows. I've been seeing nice swag. I got this really cool or merch, really cute Stitch Pride, and he was wearing a little hoodie and he's winking and it says he has a Pride shirt on. Oh, it's so cute.
So cute. Yeah, Stitch is hot right now from the new Lilo coming out. all over the place.
Oh,
But
excuse me.
you,
This just in from the producers.
oh my God, what?
The Karate Kid film is completely unrelated to a DC Comics character called
It
Karate Kid
says
in
it,
1966.
it
But
says it
since
in the
but
movie.
since the name Karate Kid was trademarked, they had
Oh
to
my God.
they had to
So
pay
they had to bow
DC.
down and give credits.
There you go, just to borrow it. So it still belongs to DC, the hero of Karate Kid. But the
Hilarious.
movie itself, yeah, it's an autobiography about a guy who really went through a lot of what the Ralph Macchio character went through.
Oh my
Fascinating.
God.
Well, there we go. It's you know what I like about this revelation? It's both true. It's one of those
Yes,
things.
we
Yeah.
both won. We both
There's
won
really a
today. That's
DC
great.
comic called Karate Kid. And the funny part is they had to, yeah, borrow the name.
That's crazy. Well, recently you had some visitors, right?
I did. I did. So, my sister and her husband came over to visit my new digs here in Winter Garden slash Central Florida slash Orlando Disney bubble. And, planning this trip, it was for my brother-in-law's birthday. Mind you, he's not a Disney-holic, but he loves,
Okay.
theme parks and having fun, but he's not like us, if that makes sense.
Right.
And my sister, as you know, is also a Disney-holic from childhood. And so when we were planning this trip, we were a little bit hesitant about like what to book because it was only like a 4-day hangout. And they wanted to see Epic Universe, of course. So we ended
Hmm.
up doing one full day at Epic Universe. And then we only dedicated one day to Disney. And we thought, okay, if it's only one day, we'll probably be able to um we won't lose our energy, let's just get as much done as at once. So we thought, let's pick two parks and park hop. So we decided for that day, which was Kurt, my brother-in-law's birthday. We did Hollywood Studios because he has never rode Rise of the Resistance. Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
And he's a big Star Wars fan. He also loves craft beer and he likes to drink. So we said, okay, let's do Hollywood Studios, and then we'll come home and take a break because it's like 100 degrees, and then we'll close the night at Magic Kingdom. Like, what a perfect way to do that. Especially if you
Very
can't do
cute.
Disney, like it's nice to at least see the castle. They live in Arizona, so they don't get to see anything on East
Hmm.
or West unless they actually visit it. So that ended up being our plan. And then there was a lot of talk about the comparisons between Epic and Disney because we did it back to back. Like, for example, of Epic Universe, we're home by 11 o'clock that night. And then we're at Hollywood Studios the next day around 11 again. So within a 12-hour turnaround, you can truly compare and contrast, which we love to do as podcasters and Disneyholics. And so there were some comparisons between the two. But before we get there, let's talk about some of the new things that I did for the first
Yes.
time so I could bring it back here to you all. So when we went to our Disney day, I got to eat at the Toy Story Rodeo Roundup Barbecue for the first time. And so this is a newer restaurant. It opened within the last year or so. It's in Toy Story Land. It is a table service, so it does require an ADR, advanced dining reservation. And it is an all you can enjoy. That's what they call
There you
it.
go.
All you can
Hmm.
enjoy. So if you're familiar with things like the Wilderness Lodge, Whispering Canyon Restaurant, or the old Disneyland, what's it called? Ranch. The Ranch.
Oh,
Do we both
hold
forget what
on.
it's called?
Thunder Mountain, Big Thunder
Barbecue.
Ranch.
Big Thunder Ranch Barbecue. Yeah. So it's like that where they just keep bringing the skillets of food to the table and it's family style. We did take one of the tips that I think came from you, Jen, and your friend Courtney,
Uh-oh.
which was, hey, if you want to try both the carnivore and the herbivore food at the barbecue, you can let them know that one person in your party is a plant-based eater, and they'll give you pretty much everything that they offer at that
Yep.
restaurant. So we did do that. We said, hey, we have two meat eaters and one plant-based. And so she definitely did that. She brought all the different things. And then there's another hidden item that's if you read through the menu, it says you can also request barbecue salmon. So if you want some
What?
fish, like maybe you're a pescatarian, they have that option. So when
Wow.
we mentioned the plant-based, she was like, "Oh, do you also want to try the salmon?"
You're
And
like,
we're like, "Oh, yeah, of
yes, all of
course.
the things,
It's
please.
it's all included, so why not?" Yeah, so she hooked it up and she brought all the food. So that's you got like ribs, you got corn, you got chicken, you had brisket, mac and cheese, coleslaw, cucumber tomato salad, tons of biscuits that were really good, the salmon, and then on the vegan side, they brought us it looked like a giant drumstick, which tasted like maybe an impossible meatloaf. That's kind of what it tasted like, slathered with barbecue sauce. And then there was an impossible like sausage. And then I can't remember what the other item was actually. And then they also brought two style barbecue baked beans, one that had the brisket in it and one that didn't. And so
Mm.
our table was just like overflowing to the point where we said, "Oh, can we also get glasses of water?" And she was like, "I don't think that's gonna fit, but I'll be back."
Ah!
Because we had like three drinks at that point. You had your included soft drink, and then he got a beer, and then you want the water too. So it was a
Yeah.
very busy table. Um, However, I will say the food wasn't good. I'm disappointed in the food.
Really?
Yeah, I give the whole experience a 2 out of 5.
Ooh, shoot.
Yeah, 2 out of 5. And for a couple reasons, like the ribs were dry, the chicken was dry. So you'd find like a couple things that you'd want and you just keep eating that. So the mac and cheese wasn't even that good, but on of what was available, that's what I felt like eating. So I ate a lot of that. The biscuits were
Oh,
good.
that's what you felt like eating was a not so good mac and cheese?
Yeah, they're not so good. It was like
Oh
spiral. It looked like it
no.
came from a box. Like it wasn't good.
Oof.
But I will say the biscuits were so good that I did wrap one up just like my mom would in a
Put it in
paper
your
towel,
purse.
put it in my bag. I did because they did not let you box anything up. And we had a long conversation about what are they going to do with all this food because there was a lot of food that we couldn't finish. So, so yeah. So I would say if you want somewhere to kill some time, maybe in the afternoon, get out of the heat and you're in Hollywood Studios, maybe. But the thing is, Hollywood Studios has so many really good food options between the sci-fi drive-in thing to the 50s prime time. I really like
Yeah,
that
I
food.
think
That's
those are
like old
both better.
like
And
TV dinner
also,
style.
like, I don't eat a whole ton of food. So, like,
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like it's lost on me for these kind of all you can enjoy places. But also, like, it depends. If it's freaking hot outside, I'm not eating anything. I want like a piece of
Yeah.
fruit and that's it. So, like, I have to go in the winter at dinner time to enjoy
Yep.
any kind of all you can eat anything, or else it's just a waste. So,
Maybe
yeah, you
smoke
have
a
to,
blunt before,
right? Yeah,
get your values worth. Now, the
exactly.
surprise, I will say, doesn't change the rating, but the surprise was the dessert, which was included. You got to choose from like a banana pudding, a some type of cheesecake, and then they also had a vegan one and then a chocolate one. And this you will love. It was the perfect tiny little mason jar of the
Oh,
dessert.
yes.
It was maybe like 4 big spoonfuls and you were done. It was
Love
just
it.
exactly what we needed.
Perfect.
Yeah. Like almost like a baby food jar, but tiny bit bigger.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was nice and it hit the spot. But yeah, can't really recommend the rodeo barbecue to anyone.
Aw.
Yeah.
Well, when I went, the food was pretty good.
Okay.
So
So maybe
nothing
hit
was
or miss. Yeah.
dry. Yeah, it could
Fresh
have
or
been
not
hit and
fresh.
miss. But it's a little chaotic in there. I think that was the only reason it lost a star for me. It was just like it's loud and there's like stuff happening a lot. And I'm just like, there's all this food. It's just a little overstimulation going on in that
Yeah.
place. So it's definitely not like a relaxed, like it's like a good like get out of the sun place, but maybe not like relaxing exactly.
Yeah.
So it just depends on what you're in the mood for. But I'm glad
My
you got to
sister
check it out finally.
my sister said it reminded her of like something they would have on the cruise ship.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, I can see
like
that.
right, it's trying to be interactive, but you can't really go all out because of the
Yeah, because there's
venue.
too many people and it's
Yeah.
impossible. So yeah,
And
yeah,
the
yeah,
food is like
totally.
pre-selected menu. Because Kurt kept looking for stuff. So there would be like sounds of the Keanu Reeves motorcycle dude like driving. So he was looking around. I was like, I don't think it's here. I think it's just a sound. And he was so sad. He was like,
Oh,
wait, I
he's
want to
like,
see it.
oh yeah, for the actual
Yeah,
some
and
kind of
he actually
effect or
he
something.
liked that character specifically, so he was excited. And then anytime Andy came out, everyone's supposed to freeze, and he was also not freezing, and he was looking around. He thought like someone was gonna come in, creepy. And I was like, no, I think it's just a sound. You gotta
He's like, is this
use
a
your
haunted house
imagination, okay?
experience now?
Use your imagination. Um,
Hilarious.
but that Disney 2 day visit was because I said it was jam-packed. We also wanted to try something that I haven't tried yet. And you had just mentioned it. This is the Disney Lightning Lane Premier Pass.
Yes, hilarious. I completely even forgot about this one.
So confusing. It is a mouthful. It is the most expensive thing. However, it is comparable to what Universal Studios has had since their opening, which is the that like Ultra Express thing. It's usually $300 to $400. What it lets you do is walk right onto the ride using the express lane. So same with Premier Pass at Disney World. It allows you to take the Lightning Lane to the attraction without reservations, once per attraction.
Okay.
So that was nice. I knew, especially with Kurt and him, he does get kind of overwhelmed as a not Disney holic. We just wanted to make everything as smooth as possible.
Yeah,
That
yep.
was our goal. And the Premier Pass, I will say, was interesting because of the way we chose to use it. So this is on us. So for 3 people, we're talking about over a grand.
Yeah.
Once you get the taxes and everything, it's like 395 per person. We knew we are going a
Oh, it's
half
well
day.
over a grand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going a half day, not even a half day. We knew we were only going to be there for like 4 or 5 hours. So on one hand, we're like, is it wasting it? But on the other, we're like, isn't that what it's for? Like Bob Iger said,
Knock
this is,
everything out in a short amount of time.
yeah, he said on an interview, this is for customers or guests or whatever word he used, that have more money than time on their vacation.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
And I'm like, okay, we currently fit the thing because you have a nice budget, but you don't have enough time. They didn't have enough time to take off at the same time, so we had a short trip. And then we only had half a day barely at Magic Kingdom, so let's do it. And so we went straight to the long rides as soon as we got there around, let's say we got there around um 6 and they closed at 10. So really 4 hours. And so we went straight to Space Mountain. Actually, I lied. Kurt wanted a beverage. And so me, not me, but you and I too, like Disney holics, we had this all planned, and then someone wants to do something that's not on the agenda.
You're like,
And the four
"Ugh."
hours are already tight, and I'm thinking about the money. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. I was like, it's fine. It's his birthday. He wants a drink. This is all for him. So what else can we do to speed it up? So we're walking down Main Street. I was like, okay, what do you want? What do you want to drink? And he's like, oh, do they have booze here? I'm like, nope, Magic Kingdom doesn't have booze unless you're at a table service, but they have really good. I was just trying to sell everything. I'm like, you're thirsty, huh? I was like, they have frozen slushy Cokes and this and this. And so we ended up ordering mobile order from the lunch pad in Tomorrowland. So by the time I got out of him what he wanted, we showed up to lunching pad and the drinks were ready. We just all got frozen Cokes, which is very good. And I forget they have that sometimes. It's a nice treat when it's hot. And so we had that. We sat down, drank that. I think he had a pretzel. Yeah, he had a pretzel. He really wanted a Mickey pretzel. And then we went to People Mover. Um, and so even doing that, that was like a walk on, but I actually wanted to do it. So I was like, fine. And so did my sister. And we're like, let's, get a lay of Tomorrowland. They haven't been in a while.
It's
So,
nice, yeah.
we did People Mover and went straight to Space Mountain and then straight to Tron. I would say Space Mountain was posted at 30 minutes, just very
Okay.
low. So we already knew we're at a low attendance day. And I'm like, oh, but we paid for
How you
this,
can't even plan it. Yep.
right? So we did Space Mountain, posted at 30. It still took like 20 minutes. So this is the annoying
Really?
thing with Premier Pass. It lets you in the Lightning Lane without a reservation, but now you're mixed in with all the multi-pass people who only paid like $27 or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, can you walk me to the freaking front of the line for $395? And Space Mountain was interesting. We noticed that at Disney World, since they have 2 tracks, right? On one track is just Lightning Lane, and the other track is standby. So to me, I don't even feel like I'm cutting the line because it just means you have a membership for a separate track or something. I don't know. Something about it was already pissing me off.
It depends on how many people are buying lightning lanes, right? If it's going to be like,
Yeah,
yeah, way shorter because less people, you would think, but
right.
sometimes
So we
not if
basically
it's a
just
light
waited
day.
in a line of people who bought Lightning Lane and
Yeah.
Premier Pass. So it still was about 20 minutes. So what that saved us 10. And then we started getting into our heads about it, and we're like, when do they actually count the time of a line? Is it up until the mix of the two people on the ride, the two lines, or is it the pre-show, or is it the loading? And I don't know if anyone knows that. I think we've always wanted to know, and it
I've
may be
asked a couple
right,
times and even cast members give me different answers. So like,
right.
I don't
They're like,
know.
don't tell them, it's a secret,
Yeah.
industry secret. So anyways, so then, but that comes up again later because when we went to Tron. Tron was posted at 60. We ended up waiting about 20. So, okay, it started to feel worth it then. But the problem with something like this is there's a mix in. So for these big rides, the lightning lane and the standby lane mixes sometimes halfway, sometimes a little closer to the
Yeah.
loading, but the value of whatever you paid for is gone as soon as the mix happens.
Yeah.
And so when you start walking by the standby queue from the lightning lane and standby is empty, I'm already like, oh, we're wasting this.
Yeah.
We're wasting
Yeah.
it. Okay, so that was Tron. It saved us about 40 minutes from the posted wait time, assuming you believe it. So we got on Tron, got off of that, and then we made our way around some of the big rides. So we went straight to Seven Dwarfs. Um, that was a walk on, and we definitely bypassed a long line, maybe
Okay.
60 minutes. Like, okay, that it starts to feel worth it again. We had a magical moment where they split our by accident the inept cast member party of three, she split us between two vehicles, which happens sometimes.
Oh,
It just
yeah.
means the cast member is not using common sense, or they don't want to deal with like the math about putting someone in the
Yeah.
thing they skipped. Either way, I paid for a photo pass with my annual pass, and I can't even imagine like the person who paid the $200 for one day, and you're gonna split up the family. That's annoying.
Yeah.
So my sister was a little bit mad about it, and and for me, I didn't care because I go all the time. But I was like, oh, it would be nice to have the three of us in the same barrel or whatever log. So then, when the person was checking our seats, I just asked her just so politely. I wasn't even mad at all. I just said, "Hey, does the photo pass take the whole train or just the cars?" Because I really didn't know. I forgot. And she goes, "Oh, it's just the car." But everything was like loading and it was like ready to go. And then she was like, "But don't worry, have fun." And so we went and did the ride. It was fun. And then we got at the end, at the unloading, she pulled us aside and she was like, "You're the family, right? That didn't have the photo together." She goes, "Come with me." And she put us right back on. We got a double
Cute.
ride,
That's sweet.
back to back ride without even asking. Like I was fine because I wasn't the one who cared as much as my sister.
Right. That's
And
sweet.
yeah, so we got a nice video and a picture. Love that magical moment. Her name
Yeah,
is
especially
Madison.
that ride because it has the video included too.
Yeah. Yeah, my sister like really wanted it. But shout out to Madison. I also remembered to quickly go into the app where you can leave a cast member
Very
compliment.
good. Nice.
So we said thank you, Madison, for that. So it started going uphill from here. So now we technically got on like four rides at that point within maybe an hour and 10.
Oh,
And so we're like,
wow.
okay,
Okay.
it's getting better. And then we went straight from Seven Dwarfs to the next land, which was Liberty Square, and we rode Haunted Mansion. That one was a walk-on for everybody. But this is where you have to just trick yourself because it still felt like a walk-on. So in my mind, it was because of the premiere pass. But the real reason why it was a Monday and the park was closing soon. Fireworks are about to start. It was at 13 minutes where you know it's a walk-on. So
Yeah.
we did Haunted Mansion, but it still felt really fun because it was so dead that the elevator room, the stretching room, was like maybe like 10 of us.
I
So
love when
my
that happens.
right, my brother-in-law still felt like we were on this bougie experience. And at
Nice.
every ride we went to, he goes, "Wait, are we rich on this ride too? We can just
Are we
do."
rich on this?
And I was like, "Yeah, we got that premiere pass." I was like, "We are rich all night. It's not just one ride today."
That's hilarious.
Um, And so then we went from there. Then we went to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, which was the first time for two of the people in our group. And this just worked out perfectly. Fireworks were going off. Yeah.
Yay,
And
cute.
you have Tiana's. It's nighttime. It's already much prettier at night, that ride. And every time we went out of the mountain, which there's a lot of those in the ride, wow, just fireworks. And some of these parts, the log like goes upward and out of the hole of the mountain, and you're looking like straight at the fireworks, like
Oh,
center.
that's cool.
Yeah, and then me and my sister were like, "Yeah, we had this all coordinated for your birthday." But he was like so happy. Like
Take
he was
those
like,
wins. I love it.
yeah, he's just like so impressed at the whole experience that we were able to have in 4 hours. He said he felt rich. He felt like it was VIP. Like he didn't know about the attendance levels were just low for everybody. He was just like, wow, we're just going from ride to ride. And then I believe we finished off with pirates. I wonder, am I missing one? Yeah, we did each land. We did a total of seven is what we counted. With time to like stop and have a drink and things like that.
And
And then that,
remind me, the
yeah,
Premier Pass, you can only do one park with it?
yes,
Okay.
one park per ride.
Okay.
So this is
Wait,
where
one
we
park per
went.
ride. What do you mean?
I mean, one ride. You can't re-ride something with the Lightning Lane.
But can you go to Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom on the same day with your Premier Pass?
No, yeah,
Okay.
just one park, and it's a different price per park. So Animal Kingdom is like a mere 149 or something
Yeah.
because there's two rides there, I think.
Right.
So I would say there's a couple things. So yeah, we did all that in 4 hours. I don't attribute it to the Premier Pass, is what I'm saying, because I think it was the timing,
Okay.
but we definitely wouldn't have been able to do Tron and Space Mountain using just the low attendance. So I don't know, in some ways, but then I'm like, would you pay $500 to go on Tron? Absolutely not.
Right. Right.
So you just have to like shake that off. And this was a special occasion. But no, I do not think it was worth it. I thought it was a ripoff, but it was our fault. Like I didn't even want to complain to Disney because they would have seen that we checked into the park at 6 p.m.
Oh, shoot.
You had all day to use the pass, so fine. And yeah, there was more rides we didn't use it on because we just hit the big ones. But the things went downhill again when we left the park. So we left at proper park closing, like 10:15 or something, which I usually never do, but I knew Kurt wanted to go back home and everybody was tired. And it wasn't my day. You know, we didn't have AP brain. We were just trying to
Yeah.
have some fun. So what ended up happening was because we parked, uh, we were honest Abe's, and I didn't do any of my schemes at the hotels to park because I didn't want to be rejected in front of them. I was embarrassed. So we just parked at the main Magic Kingdom Transportation Center with everyone else. And I've really never done that. It's very rare. And so at
And
10
leaving
o'clock,
when everyone else leaves.
God,
Double
the worst.
whammy.
Everyone else sees, right? Like you and I probably would have stayed by the castle for another hour.
Yep.
But they didn't have anything to buy and they just wanted to leave. So we ended up waiting 1 hour in a line of sweaty, crowded, tired, cranky people and
Oh
children
no.
for that giant ferry boat to take you to the thing. And it was miserable. It was very miserable. And the whole time we kept trying to make ourselves laugh. We're like, oh, I feel like we're on in line in the mob to be like that last group on the boat while the zombies are coming, and you just want to be the last one on before it's too late. Like everybody was just pushing and shoving and trying to get on the boat. And if anybody like barely got in front of you, they would start arguing, and it wasn't their
Oh my
fault because they were being
gosh.
yelled at by cast
It's
members to
that
fill
Florida
all
heat,
available
man.
spaces. Yeah.
Getting
And
people
then Kurt
agitated.
goes, "Oh, we're not rich anymore."
Ah.
I was like, "No, as soon as we left that gate, we're back."
How cool would that be if they added that as a perk?
Yes. Yes. I heard people behind us saying it. I heard my own group saying it. They're like, "Why didn't the Premier Pass extend to this?" And I agree. That would be baller right there to make the
That can
entire
like,
experience.
yeah, that can like make or break an experience getting in and out of the park,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Imagine you feeling bougie whether you're rich or someone gifted it to you. And you went from Grand Floridian to the park and back, and it was VIP the entire time. Then I think, okay, 395, fine, maybe. But yeah, that did throw everything off being shoved into that thing. But again, these were our choices. I could have tried to pay park at Contemporary and say we're going to the lounge. I could have made a fake ADR at Polynesian like I normally do, but I didn't, and that's what ended up happening. But he
You
still
know,
had a fun time.
it's
And
good.
Hollywood Studios, he still enjoyed Star Wars, of course. It was his first time on Rise. He was impressed. He was like, "What is going on? There's so many things." We got off Rise of the Resistance, and he goes, "Why can't every ride be like this?"
Ah,
I was like, "I
nice.
know, I know." So let's time travel back to the day before, which is when we went to
Okay.
Epic Universe. So it's Epic Universe. We paid for the express there, which was about the same price, about 350, 399 for that day we chose, which was Sunday, Father's Day. Um, it was a pretty low attendance day again, and I attribute this to Universal still playing around with capacity limits because it's still sold out. Like you couldn't buy it if you wanted to, yes, on Sunday.
Hmm.
Um, so it still felt good, and the express pass that's expensive doesn't work on the two longest line rides. Again, not surprised, but they don't offer a single version like Disney does to pay.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to ride Donkey Kong or Harry Potter, which were the ones that usually go to 2 to 3 hour waits, you had to just wait standby. So we did that for those two, but I will say the Express made all the other ones nice. Like we got on everything very quickly. And even if there was like a short line, like a 20-minute wait, for some reason it still felt like we were cutting the line in a good way because I would see people in the standby line. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And then you just
totally.
walk on and off. So I would say at Epic, I felt like it was a little bit more worth it. But we also had a full day there. And so we were actually able to maximize it. And we used it on every ride that was on the list except for one, which was like the water kids ride. So that
And
was
what was
nice.
the cost comparison between the two?
I'd say it's about the same.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Like if you put it with a ticket, it's about 500 for both. If you were to do some sort like park ticket, it's like 5 to 550 or something.
Okay.
But both Disney and Universal, it surges. So you might be able to get a Premier or Express for a different price depending on the date.
Gotcha. Wow.
And but yeah, it felt pretty empty. And I feel like that's what I've always noticed at Epic. And I don't think it's because it's empty. I think it's because it's so spacious, for better or worse. Like the whole middle part of Celestial Park is so big and spacious. Also means there's no shade, so it's sunny, really hot. Um, but I never felt, and this came directly from Kurt. He said he never felt packed at Epic Universe, and he never felt uncomfortable, like he had to move out of the way, and it never felt too crowded. Um, and so going from Epic to Disney the next day, it was pandemonium. All of us noticed it. We all noticed it. Like I had to put my elbows out again. I couldn't walk like 5 feet without banging into somebody who's not paying attention.
And this was on a
Strollers, the whole nine.
low day at Disney Parks.
A low day at Disney parks. Yeah, I
Wow.
kept trying to tell them. I was like, it's normally more crowded than this, even at Hollywood Studios. Like it's normal.
Wow.
But yeah, it was very night and day, and I think also the demographic was very different. Epic Universe is we didn't see that many kids or strollers, and I still haven't. I've gone maybe 5 times now. But why? So we started debating that. We're like, oh, maybe because it's not part of the annual passes yet, so you have to pay $160 to get in. Are you going to
Yeah.
waste that money on the toddler? Maybe not. So Disney just had much more kids, huge groups. You had like people of 10 with orange shirts trying to catch up to their people in line, pushing you aside, saying, I have someone waiting. There was just a lot of that. And it was hot and everybody was cranky. So he kept talking about that. He was like, "What is going on?" He's like, "Why is it so much nicer at Epic Universe?" And I even said, "I was like, that's just Epic Universe. The other two Universal parks are just as crazy, and actually have a lot
Yeah.
of teenagers with annual passes." So,
Yeah, that's the
um,
other demographic issue, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's just a unique spot for theme park fans right now with Epic Universe. You'll see in October when you come, like how it maybe is the same as I'm describing, or if anything changes. But the consensus was this is not from me. This is from my sister who's a Disneyholic. And I'll tell you what triggered it. We're waiting by Space Mountain. Kurt was in the bathroom, and there was a face painting cart like sitting out by the bathroom, with like showing you the type of face paintings you could get. There was
Okay.
nobody, no cast member there. It looked like it was open. Maybe you had to go find somebody. And she's like, "Is this Six Flags? Did Disney become Six Flags?"
Oh, they've been doing that forever too. It's even
Right?
funnier.
And
Yeah.
we had just come from seeing the like entire monster shop where they change you into monsters and it looks like an old Frankenstein barbershop thing. Granted, they do have like what the princess makeover thing somewhere, which I think is more comparable to that. But something
Granted, Epic Universe is brand
brand
new.
new. Yes, brand new. So so I don't know. I mean, I think somebody needs to walk around at Disney and go back to back and be like, just point out all the things that they could maybe sprinkle some magic on and upgrade a little bit. But I did start to feel that a little bit of like, oh, now this is the lesser one. It's usually the other way around. So we have to see, we have new lands coming like Villain's Land. And I did point out when I took them to Galaxy's Edge, I found myself defending Disney, which is weird because usually I don't, I will kind of go into the Universal dark side because I've been loving it. But I was like, see, here at Galaxy's Edge, because it's a newer land, they themed the water refilling stations,
Yeah.
which was a big thing that they noticed, that everything at Epic was so themed. Every functional thing was themed to the land, down to the water station, to the black porcelain urinals in the Darkmoor. Where at Disney, it depends on how new the area is. You might go
Yeah.
from Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular area to Galaxy's Edge, and it's very different. Even
Yeah.
the restrooms look different, right? So it is what it is. What are you going to do? Until Disney builds a new park, we're only going to see it in bits and pieces. And
Abu Dhabi.
yeah, Abu Dhabi. And then I did say, oh, I want to go to Shanghai then, because that's the newest, I think,
Yeah.
where they would have that.
Let's go.
And they had the new pirates that people were impressed with.
Let's
Um,
go.
when
So
they
fun.
built Tron, right? It was like the coolest thing, and it was nothing like it at the time. So yeah, I don't know. It was interesting hearing from my family because we had one Disney holic, we had one neutral person, and we did back to back, and there were definitely glaring differences. The last thing I will say with the um, differences comes down to the team members versus cast members. And I didn't notice it, to be honest, because I was so happy with Madison. She was
Oh
so
yeah.
cool. But Kurt said, he was like, the employees at Disney are trash. He was like, they don't even know what they're doing half the time. They are all saying different things. They're not helping. They're talking to each other. And I was like, okay, I think he is right. That was happening. I just usually don't need them as much as a local, that I just do my own thing. But yes, he was right that that was happening at the two parks, Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom. Um, he was more mad that the lady split us up on Seven Dwarfs than getting the vindication or getting the treat.
Oh, it wasn't good enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was like, "Why did they do that in the first place? Like, how stupid is she?" Like, he was so mad. I was like, "Oh, okay."
Dang.
And then at Epic, you know this firsthand. They are still on a high of opening. So what we experienced at Galaxy's Edge, where everyone
Yeah.
was in
I was
character,
just thinking about that.
yep. Epic Universe, everyone is still on a high. And that's just they just did a good job. They let the team members go to the parks like 2 months before it opened. So everyone is like a fan of Epic Universe that works there.
I want him to
And
go to Universal Horror Nights and see what he feels about
ooh,
everything
yeah.
after that.
And I'd have to take him an RIP, so he probably wouldn't notice.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no way I think I could bring him on regular Halloween. It's so crowded, he'd lose his mind. He'd probably just want to go home.
And the cast members during that and
Oh
the
yeah.
demographics of people that go to, oh my
Oh
God,
yeah, right.
the worst people on the planet.
So what is our final outcome? I don't know. It's really just I don't think it's Disney versus Universal. There's just so much context to it. It's like how new is the park? How new is the park operations? How well have the cast member or team member been trained? Like for example, when lands open, I bet you the cast members there will be a lot more efficient and in character than if you walk back over to Tomorrowland on the other side of the
Yeah.
park. I don't know.
There's so many other things too, like what group are you with?
Yeah.
Are there kids in your group? Are there not? Is it family? Is it friends? Does Epic Universe have a lot of things for little kids to do?
Right. And they don't.
versus Disney World, right?
They
So
don't.
like
Yeah.
there's a million variables to that battle there. But
Yeah.
this is, at least the battle was pointed at the beginning of like what type of people went, and that is the experience of that
For that, yeah,
demographic.
very
So,
that
yep.
specific person. And at the end of the day, he had so much fun. Like we were doing the debating on purpose. Like, what's the difference? Which is better? And we had a lot of time to kill in lines and in the car ride. So, but he said, "Oh my God, I had the best like birthday weekend. This has been
Aw,
fun.
cute.
We did so many things in a short amount of time." um, including a local Costco visit because my sister and I love local Costco's. I was like, "Do you want me to get this stuff before you guys get here, or when you do you want to come along?" She's like,
No, I
"No,
want to
wait
go
for
to it.
me."
Ah,
So we went to
cute.
Costco. So we did a little bit of local Orlando stuff, which was the first for them too. I will say one last thing about like comparing. We did ask Kurt to list like maybe top 5 rides for the whole weekend trip. And I was so surprised by all of
Oh
his
my God, I'm
choices.
excited.
So his favorite ride was a tie between, okay, Rise of the Resistance, fair, right? It's one of the
Uh-huh.
best. And this ride called Curse of the Werewolf at Epic Universe, which is one of the worst rides there.
Oh,
It's like a off-the-shelf coaster that you could tell they just needed to fill some space with.
how
And
weird.
it's so short. Like when I went during previews, you had like 3 runs during the like reversing section. And now that it's officially open, it only goes one time. So it's even shorter, like less than a minute.
Weird.
But I don't know. He loved it so much. I think because the vehicle is spinning on the track and he's never been on that type, but it's been around in like Europe for like 30 years or something.
Right.
So he just loved it so much. He was just like not expecting it. And so he's like, tie between Rise and Curse of the Werewolf. I was like, what? That's like saying like Barnstormer versus Rise of the Resistance. But to each their own. So he really loved that. He liked Tron. He said it was too short. They needed more, but he's like, I love where they were going. He really liked Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. I think because we did that back to back, it felt longer because it is pretty
Oh
short.
yeah, yeah, because it's short.
Back to back, good deal. And he loved Tiana's, and he did say it was probably because of the fireworks, but he was like, "Wow, that was another one where he said, why aren't all the rides like this, like long,
Aw.
and you can
It is
sit and
long.
see
It is a
things,
long
and
ride for sure.
yeah, like you feel like you're going through a whole journey." Um,
Aw,
but
that's
yeah, so a
cute.
little bit of both. He liked everything. Oh yeah, and the other one that was near the top of his list was Monsters Unchained, which is pretty much the fan favorite right now, I would say, at Epic Universe.
Hmm.
Yeah. Disappointment for both of them was Super Nintendo World.
Oh,
Um,
really?
which, I kind of felt a similar thing, but you'll see without too many spoilers. You'll see eventually for yourself. But I would say the only ride in that whole park that is cloned is Mario Kart. So
Wait.
it does feel a lot already dated to people. Like the same way when
Yeah.
we rode Tron, we're like, oh, they've already had it in other parks.
Yeah, it's all
This is
right.
the third Mario Kart by now. And then while Donkey Kong is really great, innovative coaster, we it was the ride that we didn't have Express for because it doesn't allow it. So we waited 2 hours for that. It was so hot on the
Oh my
outside part.
God.
We were like in the extended queues until you got into the indoor part. And then you start thinking, was it worth the 2 hour wait? And then it
Totally.
changes everything.
It completely changed. It's like
Yeah.
when you get dinner and it's delicious, but it wasn't presented well, like they flipped it upside down or something and it just doesn't look
Yeah.
pretty. It's like you don't have the full experience of that back to back where one ride might be a very short line and the ride's still really good versus one with a long line and it just kills it, which sucks,
Yeah,
but
it really
true.
does. So yeah, so there's a outsider's perspective of Epic versus Disney, and then also some tips if you want to use some of these, I would say overpriced add-ons for convenience, and you have the budget. You can
And you
decide if
might be
it's worth
going
it for you.
longer than 6 hours.
Yeah, yeah, go a little bit longer. And yeah, I don't think I would get the premiere again. Even if I had people that I wanted to impress to have a smooth experience, like if they weren't Disney people, I probably am better off just doing our normal tips and tricks
Yeah. And
rather
Lightning
than
Lane,
that.
right?
Yeah, just do the multi-pass like 30
Yeah.
bucks and then just volunteer to be the person who has to do all the duties.
Yep. Just take care of everybody for the day.
Right?
That's
And
your
then they'll
job.
still feel like VIP and then you didn't have to pay $1,000.
Right, exactly. Well, we got to hear two birthday roundups from two Geminis.
That's
Thank you very
right.
much. Super
Yeah.
fun. We also looked at some of the new things added to Disneyland, as well as Walt Disney World and Epic Universe, all in one big, oh, Karate Kid moment too.
Oh
Hello.
yeah, Karate Kid.
So many cool things. So,
80s nostalgia. Well,
yeah,
thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed episode 245 of the Disney Holic Show.
follow us on social media at the Disney Holics.
And if you want to get in touch, send us a DM on Instagram or contact us at thedisneyholics.com.
Okay,
Bye.
bye.